In November, KeySim's revenue touched £30,000, okay? And I envisage that we will hit 83,000 and give us the first £1 million a year revenue within the next 24 to 36 months. Now, KeySim is the second service that I've built up from scratch that, touch wood, will hit 1 million. The first one did. It was actually more than 1 million. It was about 1.2, 1.3. And what I'm going to do in this video is just explain some of the absolute crucial commonalities between the first service that did 1 million and the second one that is well on track to doing its first 1 million, because there's some real crucial commonalities. The first one was lone worker devices. This one is IoT SIM cards. But here's some of the commonalities. Number one, do not reinvent the wheel. When we did lone worker devices, we took a pre-existing device that was already in manufacture and circulation. We took a pre-existing set of SIM cards from various suppliers that were already in circulation. We used a monitoring station that was already functioning. Because each of the elements already existed, they required very, very minimal investment. The devices we eventually invested into and rehoused it, but initially we just used an off-the-shelf one while we got traction. That keeps the upfront costs right down. Now, if we look at that point in terms of KeySim, the backbone, Tele2 IoT, one of the most renowned and credible backbone providers on planet Earth, okay? That's the company that has got the agreements with the mobile networks. Pre-existent. I don't have to invest building a backbone. It's already there. Taking Tele2's backbone. The breakout points. So KeySims break out privately from UK data centres. 4 data centres in the UK, 1 in Geneva. That would cost a fortune to build. So I didn't build it. I teamed up with a firm that I've already done it. Felix, guy that I've known for like 15 years, owns it. So they are our exclusive breakout partner, which is how we do all of the clever things that we do with KeySim, which we won't go into because it's not really relevant. But the point is, pre-existing technologies, do you see? The value that we add is, we have incredible software coders that can actually take all of this infrastructure and turn it into very, very easy to use user interfaces. So whether it was the lone worker devices or this, you're going to need a customer facing portal and billing system, okay? So that's point number one. Use pre-existing technologies that don't cost a fortune to build, okay? You're essentially going to be gluing existing component parts together, amalgamating it into a service and selling it as a package, ideally. Commonality number 2, repeating revenues. I would never ever touch a startup that simply sold a product. So you sell 10 products one month and you've got to sell 15 the month after to grow. Nah, it's got to have repeatable revenues every single month. So if I sell 10 SIM cards this month and 1 next month, I've essentially got 11 on the books. That's how you grow. That is an absolute prerequisite. As I say, wouldn't touch anything else unless it's actually got repeatable revenues. Next one. And this is one which founders normally shy away from. Attack pre-existing, congested potentially, big markets, yeah? So most people look at it and think, oh, I can't go into that because X supplier's already in the game. Like, for example, we could look and say, oh, Wireless Logic are already there. We can't enter that industry. You absolutely can. So when you're entering an industry, it may be big and it may have huge incumbents. Are they happy with that incumbent? Is there no disgruntled customers there? Yeah. Even if there isn't, can you provide a better service? Can you provide it at a better price point? Remember, big incumbents have got big overheads. They need return on investment for shareholders. End users don't give two hoots about all that. They care about the service. So if you can actually provide something which is minimum, equal, ideally better than what they're doing, you'll move them. And it's better to actually move incumbent customers that already exist and are already using the service than try to actually create a brand new concept where you have to educate people as to why it's needed. So I love industries with big, bloated, daft incumbents, because that's where I'm going to get my customers from. Ideally, you'll have experience in using them as well. So that's 2. Third one, minimal overheads. Minimal overheads. You do not want to, this again relates to point number 1. We're not spending loads of money on investing on building this thing, and also we're not going to commit loads of money into overheads on a monthly basis. That's why I'm sat in a kitchen, not an office, despite the fact that I could rent one tomorrow, but I'm not going to, because it's cash, right? And I don't want to spend cash. Keep your overheads right down. Do not go employing staff prematurely. The amount of startups that I see employing staff and then getting rid of them 6 or 12 months later is ridiculous. And it's because the founders think that they're Billy Big Boots before they actually are. You'll know when you can afford staff because the gross margins will be there to actually pay for them, right? So keep your overheads right down. You as a founder need to be doing the vast majority of all that work in the early days, and even when it gets traction, don't go spending it. Just don't spend anything with anybody. And again, slightly linked, marketing. So once you've built your service and you've got something which is really useful that can compete with the big daft incumbent, and you've not spent a load of money setting it up and your overheads aren't massive, you've still got to acquire customers, right? So how are you going to do that? Well, think about it logically. There's only one way to acquire a customer, and that's for them to see you, right? For them to be aware of it. And in the past, you'd have to spend money on marketing. Not anymore. Just use free organic social media. There's so much nonsense about what works and what doesn't and all the rest of it, and I'm not even going to go into some of the drivel that I read, but put it this way: if you're in a desert and there's a bottle of water available, do you care how the message got to you that there's a bottle of water over there? Do you, Eck? You're going to go and buy it. So it doesn't matter by what means you get yourself in front of somebody's eyes, whether it's LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, it makes no difference. Just post, organic, yeah? And you will get customers. And that's how we got all ours. We've got over 400 customers now, and pretty much all of them were acquired for free, just using social media. Didn't pay anybody anything. Oh, bar some Facebook ads, and we did a little bit of email marketing, but 90% of it from free marketing. So there we go. There's all the points. And each of them, have you noticed, is designed to minimize the cost of starting. Everything that I'm discussing here is all about not spending while accumulating as much revenue as possible. Dead basic, really, but I see so many people that are starting businesses and they do one or all of them things completely wrong. And it's like, you start up, probably won't hit the heights, but if you do all them things, then maybe it will.